This is You and the Law on AM 650. Now back to the show.
Good to have you with us on this edition of You and the Law here on AM 650. We're focusing on the category of power of attorney. And with us in studio is David Hobbs from Hobbs Giroday in downtown Vancouver. They are estate litigation lawyers. David, I'm kind of a worst case scenario here. Bear with me because I'm trying to figure out this power of attorney thing. Suppose now, I'll use myself and my brother as an example. Suppose Dad, who is long gone, God bless him, but suppose Dad appointed his brother power of attorney over my brother and me. So we'd get over the ego thing because it's his brother. And so, and we're noticing that, Dad's not doing well, and so brother is more and more a factor in his life and his affairs. And we're kind of noticing that Uncle's got a new car, and life's looking pretty good. And we start paying a little attention, and we find out he's really starting to drain Dad's bank account, and I don't know that Dad wanted this to happen. Can my brother and I step in and somehow or another obstruct the person who has been granted power of attorney from carrying on and doing what we feel is not in the best interest of our dad?
Yes, but not without challenges, and it's a rocky road. The Act says that if there's actual abuse or neglect occurring, that a person, and I'm using that as a definitive term, a person can make an application or proceed under the Act. So there is a legal route, but it has to be a very high level of bad behavior that's occurring that amounts to abuse or neglect. Something less than that isn't going to cut the mustard.
Okay.
The public guardian and trustee exists, but that's where the person who granted the power of attorney has become incapacitated and is not aware of what's going on.
Right.
And the public guardian and trustee will be contacted, and they'll investigate, and they'll go and speak to, in your hypothetical, your dad.
Right.
And if your dad appears to be competent, and typically they would say, well, do you know what's going on? And it's funny, people might even be aware that someone is abusing their financial affairs.
Right.
Your father, in your hypothetical or example, might be aware that his brother is draining his bank account.
Right.
He did sell his car. He's doing all sorts of bad things, but they won't blow the whistle.
He's my little brother, for crying out loud.
Well, and they don't want to, late in life, they don't want to create disharmony amongst the family, even if one of the family members is misbehaving, and that's
right.
and I think that speaks to people later in life becoming vulnerable, maybe becoming unwilling to grab the cudgel and take on the battle. Their attitude is such that they just don't have the energy for that anymore, and so if they express themselves this way to someone like the public guardian and trustee, they won't step in.
Right, of course.
And so that doesn't work. And so these are avenues that can be, and you can go to a lawyer. The lawyer will talk about the public guardian and trustee. They'll talk about the powers under the statute and so on. But fundamentally, if the individual who's the grantor is got capacity and they don't want to take up the battle or see the battle unfold, it's a very difficult situation.
And I guess at Hobbs Giroday, you see this all the time where, family members come in going, hello, this is crazy. This person is robbing my family member blind. They've got power of attorney. They're doing things that we absolutely disapprove of. But, if the person, the grantor, is competent, then you lose, right?
And a lot of it has to do with proximity. You have a person, say, living in a house. They have neighbors or someone, friends that visit them. They're the people that have proximity to this person, and they may have children that they're very close to. They're adult children. They may live somewhere else. Mm-hmm. They may only see granddad or grandma at Christmas time or 4 or 5 times a year.
True. Yeah.
And these facts of proximity, coupled with the aging process, result in changes which are upsetting to people because you spent your whole life with someone, and in the last year or two of their lives, everything's changed because of the proximity of a bystander.
All the more reason while sound mind and body, as they used to say on TV when they talked about wills and all of that. Remember the TV shows, I fill in the blank, being of sound mind and body, do hereby bequeath, and off goes the list. Well, that same of sound mind and body point in your life should be where perhaps in addition to a will, you consider and organize power of attorney while you're still on the ball and on top of your affairs, so that should that day ever come that you're not, it's done, it's taken care of. So you don't have to have your descendants in Hobbs Giroday at each other's throats. Not trying to deny any business, David. There's no shortage of that, is there?
No, but it's interesting that the clarity to the attorney as to what your expectation is. If you say to the person, look, I'm giving you power over my affairs, but really it's intended that if I'm unable to look after myself, and what I intend is you're going to manage my affairs conservatively, you're going to get investment advice, you're going to make prudent decisions, and you're going to look after me and care for me and look after my healthcare needs and so on. That's the purpose of this.
Right.
It's not that we'll all have a party.
Mm-hmm. And it's not to be taken lightly.
Not to be taken lightly, definitely.
Indeed it is. David Hobbs of Hobbs Giroday in Vancouver, thank you for this. It's just been a most enlightening conversation about a topic that, again, we hear in conversation on TV all the time, but up until today, I confess to not having even the slightest understanding of the whole legal concept behind power of attorney, and thank you for your patience in helping us all have a better grasp of the subject.
You're most welcome.
That's our edition of You and the Law. We'll see you again soon here on AM 650.